And so I got a call back from Telsey and Company, and that was for the first national tour, the Angelica Company, to be a standby. And I didn't book it, but that was fine because I ended up booking Color Purple instead. And then when I was wrapping up with Color Purple, that's when, actually we were at Kennedy Center. My agent reached out and she said, "Hey, Hamilton, they would love to bring you back in for some more callbacks." And so many callbacks later, I ended up getting the official offer. And but the story starts before that. I remember listening to the soundtrack, and when it finished playing, I looked at my wife and I said, "I'm gonna play that role." I've never been that serious about playing any role. I've never been so certain about anything in life. And so that was a bit uncharacteristic of me, but there was something about it, about the role, about what I heard that just resonated with me. And there was no ego attached to this. It wasn't like, I'm gonna play a role because that's mine. It was so much deeper than that. And I kind of had it on repeat ever since, the soundtrack. And so then it all came together in 2018. That's when I got the offer, and I started it out as a standby, and I was with the Ampegi Company, and we did a historic run in Puerto Rico with Lynn playing or reprising the role of Hamilton. I made my debut there in Puerto Rico when Lynn was playing Hamilton. That was really cool. That was pretty wild. And then later that year in 2019 is when I stepped into the role full time, and I've been doing it ever since. I think it's genetic makeup. I think this is a company made up, it's a multinational company. We have the former German company represented. We have an Australian company represented. We have American companies represented. We have West End represented. And I think the beauty in all of that is we are all bringing our unique fingerprints that we have. We're all pouring it into this space, and now we get to share it with everyone else, with the world, and with our audiences. And I think that's really special. In fact, I think it makes it even more effective because we're going into these international markets, and so I just think that is it's a really special thing that we've got here, and I think in addition to that, you know, Hamilton is not, yes, it's American history, but it's not exclusive to American audiences, which is why I think it resonates so well with our non-American audiences too. And I think that's the beauty of this being an international coalition of artists, stepping on stage, sharing and the telling of the story that makes it so special. And I tell people, you know, Hamilton, the show, is the celebrity. We as actors, artists on stage, we are stewards of Hamilton, of the show. And that is what helps me sleep at night. That helps me keep my feet on the ground. You know, I think it's easy to get caught up in the celebrity of it all and think that it's about you. It has nothing to do with me. It is my obligation and my duty and my responsibility to bring my best self to the role, to the stage. But it's not about me. And I think the beauty of this international company and this experience is there is a high level of celebrity and stardom, enthusiasm that we get to witness. That is, it's different from Puerto Rico in that I don't want to say it's bigger because it's different. I don't think you can compare apple to oranges, but it's just different, and but it's all beautiful. Yeah. You know, I'm always learning something new about George Washington. So when I first stepped into the role, I wanted to find out who really was George Washington. In school, we learned he's the first U.S. president. He's been placed on this pedestal, and he's this hero figure. And I think that's one way, I think, to portray the role. But I find that very uninteresting to me. Instead, I really wanted to get to know the person and the individual. And so I made it my business to read books, to read up on him. I even visited Mount Vernon and had a chance to sit down with the historians and researchers to able to go to the private vault there and to read some of his letters because I really wanted to touch history in that way so that it would help inform how I would dismantle the pedestal that he's been placed on. So also I could connect with this real life figure. Now, right, then we get into the history of it all as well and the flaws of it all. The elephant in the room is, he enslaved Black Americans, and I'm a Black man playing the role, a descendant of enslaved Black Americans, and I've grappled with that. I really had to sit with that. But for me personally, the only way for me to move forward in this, I had two options. One was to turn it into, I guess, a form of sticking it to the man. Or I could choose to forgive him. That doesn't mean that slavery wasn't bad. It was. And I think it casts a long shadow that America continues to grapple with today. But I do think the beauty of this role and of playing this role in this show is it shows that these American ideals of democracy, of freedom, that all men are created equal, that's the aim. So now, today, I get to stand in as George Washington. And I represent my ancestors first. George Washington, he will always take second seat. He'll always take the back seat because how can I deny my existence and evidence of my ancestors and on my skin? How can I deny that? How can I ignore that? So therein lies the protest. Therein lies the reconciliation. But also therein lies the opportunity to hopefully be that inspiration to our audiences that we can overcome these horrible, horrific acts of evil and move forward.